Mate, what is with all these NRL Fantasy podcasts? They all sound the fucking same. Welcome to the echo chamber.
Hello and welcome to the third NRL Fantasy Echo Chamber podcast. We're talking about the edges today, and I have a couple in the bin crew guys. How are you going, CCW?
Good, mate. How are you?
I'm pretty well, thanks. How good is this? It's a bit of a tease, but we've finally got some sort of TLT. Eddie, is there anything that we can sort of make of this, or no, it's TLT trials?
It is TLT for trials, so you don't want to get too carried away. I certainly wouldn't be rushing Laban into your team or anything like that.
Yeah, there has been a couple of hasty changes, which is all good and fun and part of the preseason. But yeah, I seriously doubt any of those are going to be in your starting side at round one, let alone in your fantasy team. So we might as well start with those trials teams. So I'll read them off. We've got the Sharks with a couple of guys in, mostly a bit lower strength. I think some of the Sharks boys were going to sit out so they could focus on the Indigenous game and stuff like that. But we have at the back Will Kennedy, wings of Stone Street and Sione Katoa. Centres are Iro and Moene Hiroti. Atkinson and Niue Puru at 6 and 7. Hamlin ULA and Tom Hazelton and props. Jaden Burrell hooker. Talakai, Billy Burns edges. Oregon Kafusi at lock. Hoepa Puru at 14. Tuku Autapua at 15, Couch and Blake, Lachlan Crouch and Blake Hosking at 16, 17. And then you got your super extended reserve list with guys like Chris Vallejo, Kyle Pickering, Michael Gabriel. Keen to see him. He's relatively highly touted, and the list goes down. On the Warriors side, we've pretty much got a starting 13, starting 17, probably only 2 or 3 different to how I'd expect them to line up in round one. You've got Chans at the back, Roger and Watenes Lesniak wings, Ali Leotawa and Pompey in the centres. Metcalf is the 7. No Boyd to be seen anywhere in the 29 players' names, so probably Niggle, but it's interesting to see Tamara Martin at 6. Fisher Harris, Barnett props, Egan hooker, Jacob Laban and Capewell edges. Aaron Clark gets a shot at 13 to see what he's got and whether he can win that for round one. Then the bench is Dimitrik Vaimalga, Renata Niokore, Myla Graham Taufa, Siu Kali, and then down in the reserves, there's a couple of names like Tuapiki, Jet Cleary, Bunty Afoa, and up-and-coming hooker Sam Healy, Dylan Walker all the way down in 27. So probably get to see more of Aaron Clark than Dylan Walker just for this first trial game. Anything stand out to you in that Warriors team, Eddie?
Yeah, it's interesting that Clark was picked ahead of Walker, although, again, you could just say it's because it's a trial match and they know what Walker's done for them at 13 and they want to get a good look at Clark. But I still think it'll probably be Walker that gets it in round one, right?
Yeah, well, the couple of guys that are missing, in my opinion, are probably more the workhorse guys. Like, I mean, you've got Barnett and Fisher Harris there, but they're the big whoppers doing damage. They want to see how they probably fire up getting into the season, but your real engine guys like Ford and Dylan Walker who play big minutes but aren't necessarily the stars of the team compared to those guys probably don't need to smash themselves that much. That's how I see it. What do you reckon, CCW?
Yeah, down the wires.
Fuck you. Fucking homo.
Wait till week 2. We'll drag Manly instead.
Yeah, no, good points, though. Good points. I'd be looking at Aaron Clark the most. If he locks down that role, then I think he'll be in my team. And then Metcalf, if he gets the 7 jersey with no Boyd around, I think I'll be getting him. I've heard that it's going to be CHT and Metcalf, so I'll have 2 Warriors in my team if that was the case.
I still find it real fucking hard to believe when Metcalf has been like one of the lowest kick meaning halves in the entire comp for his whole career so far. It's a big fucking turnaround. Fuck, I still reckon it's Boyd, eh?
It is a bit
Yeah, well,
weird.
I mean, they did sign him, so yeah.
What CCW's failing to tell you is his source is actually a ranger, so make of that what you will. So he's not even denying it.
A ranger who apparently has beers on Vulcan Lane with the assistant coach for the Warriors. So yeah, who knows?
Lying ranger.
Well, there is a distinct lack of Ranger in the Raiders team list, which we'll get to in a bit, but those are probably more reserve grade sides. The Warriors is probably the only one that runs out close to full strength. Is there any other changes you'd expect for this round one side? I've seen photos going around which may or may not have Chance with something that doesn't look like a one on his back. You've got Rocco Berry missing.
Oh yeah, was
like
that you that took that photo and zoomed all the way in to like try and see if there was curvature on the fucking number?
It was. Yeah, I saw that and I'm like, that doesn't look like a one. Where's the top? Where's the bottom? But yeah, I mean, it's preseason, so they're probably doing reps as well.
But I cracked up when you posted that on another thing. I was like, oh my god, this is the most. I've seen players reading into things too much in preseason, but this is next level. Sitting there blowing up this fucking image to see if there's curvature on the fucking letter. Fucking hell.
11 pixels of white to say it's a 3, and we put Tuilagi in my team instead. That's probably worse than putting Lave in my team.
Fuck, it's classic.
Yeah, good stuff. I'm interested to see that they've put Atkinson starting 6 in this trial game when he's off to the Dragons, but I mean, I guess he's still got a year to run. And they've got, I mean, with the addition of Fanua Blake, they've been missing someone like that.
Well, that's mostly a reserve grade side. That's a shitty side anyway. I wouldn't read too much into any of the selections in that team.
Yeah, Talakai probably gets 14 anyway, instead of a proper utility like Atkinson.
I don't even know why they're making aero play. They're not making most of the guns play.
Yeah. Ison isn't playing, which will be interesting to see second trial match if he's fullback for the second one. But yeah, I mean, round one, maybe we'll see Kennedy in reserve grade. It will get more cheapy. That'd be good.
They're hiding AFB from us. He's scared.
Didn't want to play against the Warriors. They built him too much.
Nah, just a boy. Fucking, we've come to give them a hiding in the middle. I feel sorry for fucking this crappy Sharks team coming to get the shit bashed out of them by Barnett and James Fisher-Harris.
Yeah, we could be looking at like 52-6 at the end of the game unless they all go off after 20 minutes.
Those two are going to be the mad Bash brothers on defence this year. Fucking will be a scary defensive line to be running it at.
Yeah, it'll definitely be good. Anything else on this one, or should we have a quick gander at the other trials game before we get into the edges?
I can move on to the next one.
Yep. All right. So Panthers line up with Laurie at the back, the McLean brothers at each of the wings, probably a shootout for the spots. Sione Fanua at 3, Kapoa at 4, Jack Cole and Schneider at 6 and 7 respectively. And then you've got some real interesting names. Luron Patea at 8, Somerton at 9, Preston Ricky 10, Gaia and IPap at the edge, Eisenhuth at 13, Trent Tolau 14, Harrison Hassett 15, Sagaga at 16, Riley Wake 17, and I don't recognise basically anyone in the reserves at all.
I'm just interested. I'm just keen to see what sort of physical shape IPap looks in. If he looks fit and healthy, I'm pretty keen. I wouldn't read too much into the selections, but I'm sure he's going to be starting come round one. I just really want him to start on the right edge because that's Cleary's edge, eh?
Yeah, and I think he'll be dominant this year. Like with no Luai, he's played for him for like a decade, up and coming through juniors and everything, and then with him at the Panthers for years. So I really do think it'll take time for them to properly gel, and everything's going to go through Cleary. So I do think it matters which side he's on.
They don't have a star 6 that likes to go left anymore, so they're it'd be like at fucking the Rabbitohs. If Cody Walker isn't playing, like they're not going to swing it left quite as much as they used to. Like it'll definitely be Cleary centric.
Yeah, load him up, 75 average. Any thoughts on any of this CCW, or is it pretty much just IPap getting a hit out with the reserve graders?
No other Panthers are really looking that enticing. I think I'll probably just have Yeo and Cleary.
Yeah. If anything, it probably tells us that Tuilagi is probably favoured for that 6th spot, which isn't a huge surprise with Cole and Schneider playing in this one. But yeah, that's probably all I can take out of that.
I think I saw somewhere that Blaze has got a niggle, but I do think he will be the 6th, though.
I reckon so too. All right. Over on the Raiders, we've got a similar looking reserve grade side. We've got Chevy Stewart at 1, Michael Asumua at 2, Hopawate and Waitier at the centres, Jade Stewart in the other wing, Adam Cook at 6, Ethan Sanders at 7, Jordan Martin and Sami Solo at prop, Owen Patty is at 9. Simi Sasagi and Matty Nicholson from England are the edges. Miles Martin lock. Ethan Alea 14. Isaac Tutupu, Regan Carr, Mark Tuiali, and then a bunch of names that I haven't heard much of at all. So a similar sort of thing. I think the 12, Matty Nicholson's getting a hit.
That's just a straight up reserve grade team, basically.
Yeah.
With a yeah. The only interesting thing for me there is that Hopowate's in this team. And hopefully that means Tamales keep pushing him, but it also might just be because they're not expecting him to play for the next couple of weeks of his baby or whatever. Because he's the one that's got a baby due, and is going to be having a week off or something.
Yeah. Sissy Dub, are we going to get absolutely wrecked by Ricky rotations after week 1, or is Tamale going to be better than that?
Who knows? It's fuck Ricky Stewart. He's a fucking crackhead.
Well, hopefully this Ethan Sanders being named at 7 in the trials match means he's a backup 7, and Ethan Strange is going to say 6, and Fogarty's going to kick 1,000 meters. So here's another option if you're not massively keen on Munster with Niggles and round 2 bye, but like there's a lot to like with Munster. So I think you've got to really like Fogarty to take him over some of those guys. But yeah, that's probably the only other thing I'd take out of this team.
Yeah. Would you look at Horseburger?
Oh, I don't know if he gets the minute split that I like. I currently have him and Papa splitting 80 at one spot. Horse bigger at 45 to 35. That could push up a little bit, especially as the season goes on. But I just don't know if it's going to be quite enough when you've got Smithies and Tarpanay there.
Hosking only 3.9% owned. Fuck. I guess we're going to talk about him if we're doing the edges at the end.
We will be. We will be for sure.
Yeah. It's a lot of guys like that. Uncertainty, but big ceiling. But yeah, that'll do for those trial matches. They'll be good to see some footy and a bit of a hit out, especially from that Warriors side. But yeah, it's mostly going to be week 2, 3 where we see more stuff. These are all 4 of the Vegas teams, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why they're starting off early. All right. So we're here to talk edges, and not as many as the middles, but there's still a lot of guys to go over and a lot more variety in this position than pretty much any other position that I've seen floating around. Eddie, what have you sort of been seen going around strategy-wise for these edges? Because I've seen cheap, I've seen guys going mid-range, expensive. There's been a lot of differences.
I haven't seen a lot of expensive ones floating around. A lot of them seem to be built around that sort of high 500s, low 600s price, or people stacking up on these 400s guys that are punts that have potential upside but could also be shitters. Your Kelmers, your Finnays, your Whites, all those sort of cunts. I like to shoot for a little bit higher than that myself. I don't like getting 20s and 30s out of my edge forwards. I'm going to try and avoid doing that.
Yeah, what about UCCW? Is there any interest from you from taking, I don't know, like a Fafita, a Hopgood, an Angus, or really just stack up on middles and go for the value?
Yeah, I think I'm going at the moment Hosking and IPap. That looks pretty good. And then I've got Fini Fuiaki on the bench, him or I guess I might have Seyfarth as well. So yeah, I'm not really sure. I've been playing around, but I think Hosking and IPap's a good starting edge for now.
Yeah, I think that's pretty
I don't
solid.
mind. I don't mind Cat Dog Crichton as a pod alternative to Haas though.
Well, he's got the
Play around with that. He's
DPP.
not on my. No, I don't think he does.
Crichton.
Yeah. I think
No,
he's just edge.
he doesn't now. Yeah, stink.
But
No,
no,
I'm not, I'm not getting Haas this year. I'm going year. Fuck Haas.
Yeah, there you go. I would probably expect Angus to be the best choice out of that lot if you're going to go expensive, because he did have those couple of interchange games to begin last year, and you take that out, and he's back to being the guy who can challenge David Fafita on his day, like he was 3, 4, 5 years ago. So I think that he can beat a 54, 55 average, but yeah, you're already paying that much, so you've got to really want it and take someone out of those middles, as you said, Eddie, like a Haas alternative rather than having like a Yo and an Angus both together, because you do want to spend a lot of money up front.
Yeah, I do think he's a good option though. I'd damn sure have him before I'd have Fafita. That's for fucking sure.
Yeah, well, it's a price difference of well over 50k, and that's the difference between 55 and nearly 60, and he's got a buy. That's an expensive looper. I wouldn't be going there.
Nah.
Yep. All right. Well, we'll move down from that bracket to sort of the 700 and below mark. There's a couple that are, I guess, in between those guys you're talking about, CC double, those 590, 600k guys. There's a couple that are a little bit higher, up around 690 mark, that are a little bit interesting. So you've got your Jacob Preston, Colin Matungi, when with all those Souths injuries. I've even seen Dylan Lucas, especially with that centre duel. Out of those three, would there be any of them that you might think take a step up this year into that gun bracket, or are they all just going to sit around low 50s again?
They're probably low to mid 50s for most of them. I can see the appeal of wanting to have a keeper centre that's actually playing second row forward, but I don't know. What I learned from last year and probably previous years before that is I'm not going to put much credence into picking a player in round one thinking that they're a keeper that I don't have to worry about all year, because really that's just theoretical, because in reality last year only one of my entire 21 lasted the whole season, so you can call them keepers, but doesn't mean they are. I guess guns would be the more appropriate term, but those guys seem a little bit full freight.
Yeah, I'd even prefer Olakuatu over those three that you mentioned. I think he had a bit of a tilted end to the year, so I can see him
Big time
Yeah.
shitty into the year.
and Manly have like 5 home games out of the first 6 or something. They've got quite a nice early run this time, so I think Olakuatu could be a good POD. I think he's about 7% owned, so not quite.
I'm still pissed at him. He fucked me over when I got him last year, so I'm annoyed at that. I wonder if the coaches still have him on that KFC reward system that they had him on last year.
Yeah, well, he's co-captain now. They've promoted him within the leadership group of the team, so I don't know. I think he could be in for a big season.
Yeah, well,
If
he
he
could score like it.
keeps,
Yeah, I think that we saw what he can do for that first half of the year before he had that injury and dropped off. He went for a stretch where he only had 2 games below 50, and one of them was at 49 in about 10 weeks. and got up to like 775k. I think there is a world where he can maintain that, especially if some of the other teams stay fit and the attack's firing. But yeah, as you said, it is quite expensive to start the year. The only other one I'm a little interested in to watch is Jacob Preston doesn't seem to get 80 minutes. Like you'd think Kikau would be the impact player, but for some reason Preston seems to go off with 10 or 15 to go every now and then. He actually averaged that 52 points in only about 67 minutes last year. So if he actually became a full-time 80-minute player, I think he would be a gun.
How many tries were in that? It felt like he scored a few.
How many tries?
Yeah.
He had a try scoring rate. Yeah, it was pretty high. It was about 40%. So not outrageous for a second rower, but he probably won't go up from that.
No, he won't go up from that. He can score a few, though.
Yeah, not unless your name's Hudson Young. But yeah, all right. Britton Nicker might have an all right year, but with the Sharks halves moving around, I'm not touching him either.
Nah, he's like Tedesco. At some point of the season, he's going to drop down below 600k, and then you just get him. That's a habit that he's got every year.
Yeah, I like that. Frizzell doesn't mind that too, but I think Frizzell's a bit too old and not going to do that this year with Lucas and KPP, but we'll see. All right, we'll drop down to that slightly cheaper bracket now, headed by IPap.
Yeah,
CCW,
this is the area that I like.
Yeah, CCW, you've got him in your team.
Yeah, I do. So I got Hosking and IPap. Although I've just been playing around as we've been talking, and I've ended up with Olakuatu and Hosking. But yeah, I think IPap's definitely someone you want in your team. If he's going to be starting and playing 80 on that right edge, I think you're silly not to grab him at that price.
I don't know if he'll play 80 every week. I think it'll sort of range between 60 to 80. But if he's back to his usual self before he went to the Tigers, 70 minutes will be plenty. There's a lot to like here. He was awesome at the Eels. He was the best second rower in the game, like better than Fafita and Angus and shit. Like averaged like 63 at one point. I don't think he'll do that, but he's pretty fucking unhappy at the Tigers. And I imagine he's a lot happier now at fucking at Penrith, and he's going to be getting fed a lot more front foot ball. There's pretty fucking good upside there, and like, I think worst case scenario, he'll be a low 50 scorer.
Yeah, hard.
He's in my team.
Very nice. Double IPap. I think another thing that you mentioned earlier, Eddie, it'd be really juicy and hard to not take if he's named on Cleary's side instead of Martin. That would just indicate he's going to go over.
That would make me way more confident. But I'm probably going to get him regardless. But yeah, I really would like to be on that right edge for sure.
Yeah, it's a good shout. I don't think we'll get 80 all the time, especially when you've got. Well, Sorensen's probably going to turn back into a middle, but you're still going to have like Garner on the bench. Even Henry spent some time there, so I think Garner's going to play 20 minutes on Martin one week and 20 minutes on IPap the other week, and that's how it's going to sit. But yeah, if IPap goes back to good IPap, that 60 average in 80 minutes will probably turn into a low 50s average in 70 minutes anyway.
Okay, Nez.
Fantastic. All right, next one down from that. I've seen a couple people thinking about Teague Wilton.
Yeah, Sieg Wilton, the man from my profile photo.
Sieg Wilton.
Have you seen it?
I have. No. I have.
My mate photoshopped. My mate photoshopped him into a whole mongrel mob thing.
Sure. Shuck up.
Fucking Sieg. Sieg fuck.
So, I think I
actually like him.
Yeah, the thinking with him is, well, he's definitely a few points underpriced. It's just, can he sort of get to that 50 role? We do know that his role is a lot safer than some of these other guys we've got floating around, like there's not as much upside for sure, but with IPap, a little bit of minutes worry, some of these other guys, a little bit of role worry. We know that Wilson's going to get 80 and he's going to score high 40s probably, maybe even slightly more if Trindle is running around doing a bit more. So I don't hate it. I just don't know if there's as much upside and if I like him as much as some of those guys surrounding him.
It's more about 5 points undervalued. Still doesn't play Origin. His role's very fucking safe. I think he's a pretty good buy. Fucking old Sigi.
Yeah.
I don't have him, but he has been in and out of my team at one point.
Yeah, nice.
Pretty
Good
mighty.
stuff.
Yeah, not for me.
Who's that next one?
Next one down straight from him, only 3K difference, is somebody that's in my team currently, but as I said, role a little uncertain. Johnny Bateman, CCW. What do you think is going to happen with Bateman at the Cows? Is he going to melt in the North Queensland sun and want to get out 8 weeks like he does at every club he plays for?
Yeah, possibly. He seems a bit risky, but he's still a very good player. He's only 30 something.
32.
Yeah. I'm definitely considering him still. Like you say, it's role dependent, but I mean, if he's playing in the middle and making a bunch of tackles, he's always going to be, a stats guy, and a good
He's going to be starting on the edge, bro.
Yeah, well then he's not. Maybe not for me then.
I've got him in my team. I'm very confident he's going to play big minutes here. They've just lost Finney and Loki. He's traditionally been like an 80-minute player. He's good. He's experienced, which they need a bit of. They've had a few players leaving. As long as he stays healthy, I'm confident he's going to be a good buy. Bateman does come with a few niggles and, as you say, sucky moments, but fucking sub 600k, I think it's a good pickup. I'm keen.
Yeah,
he's got good ups.
Yeah, it's convincing.
Yeah, I think he does score better when he moves to lock mid-game, and I will be keen to see what they do with the Cotter rotations and stuff this year. But yeah, if he's playing any 80 of sorts, he'll score more than 44.6. So I'm happy to have him there for now.
Him and Nanai are the only two good edge players in the fucking club.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think he'll be playing 70 to 80 minutes every week.
Yep, can't argue with that. I agree. Is there any love for any of the Knights edges other than Lucas? Probably not so much for me. Pierce Paul seems to be on the outer, and even though Frizzell seems to be back with the starters for some reason, I mean, he's even older than Bateman. He's what is he, 34?
Yeah, probably about that.
Too much.
I remember I'm pretty sure I remember him being in fantasy in 2012, which is 13 years ago now.
Yeah.
Yeah, perennial good scorer, but probably not going to score that much.
He's on the
this
decline
year
now, I think.
Yep, somebody who's not on the decline now, and if he was to play 80 minutes, he would just about be one of the best edge scorers in the game. Zach Hosking. We saw what he did last year. We had worries with him about what his minutes are going to be, and he scored, 60 and 90, and then got a calf injury, but he still made 100k in that time. Eddie, what does you make of Hosking versus Matty Nicholson and versus Ricky Stewart?
I think Hosking should do pretty good. I had him for that period last year. It was fucking mean, King Hoss. I think he'll definitely be the starting second rower. Minutes might change a bit from week to week, sort of anywhere from fucking high 50s to 80 minutes on any given week. Without a doubt, Hudson Young will be getting his 80 minutes. So whenever an edge comes off, it's always going to be Hosking. So in saying that, he's got a PPM of over 0.7 on the edge, which is really fucking strong. So as long as he's getting sort of 65, 70 minutes, he should still be a 50-point player. And we've seen the upside when he does play 80. So if he does that for a period, he could jump up. He seems to me like he should be the sort of player that Ricky likes. Just hard-working fucking white boy. He loves that shit. This English guy's going to have to prove himself to push his way into the starting team, I'd say.
Yeah, Ricky doesn't mind an Englishman, but yeah, I don't think he's going to be the one that's pushing ahead of their existing guys. I'm still trying to work out Ricky rotations, which is probably a mistake given that it's Ricky. But my thoughts are that Smithies, if Smithies goes below 60 minutes, it really helps out one or both of Horse and Hosking, because it'd basically mean Matty Nicholson has to play some middle rather than just coming on and taking 20 at edge or something like that. And then I'd really, really be keen on Hosking.
Yeah, well, Hosking can play minutes in the middle for sure. He's done it before.
And his PPM's huge. I think if he's a 80-minute player, he goes close to 60 from what he's done. Every time he plays, it just seems like
there is a hidden outlier in those stats though. Obviously he's played only a limited amount of games, like I don't know, like 25 NRL games or something, only 12 of them being starts, and it just so happens that every one of those tries is when he's playing like 80 minutes. So the try rate through that sample is way high, so it's a little bit deceiving.
Yeah, I guess so. Still at a 43.6, you'd be happy with mid-50s still for sure. I don't know if you'll get that, but 50 plus in 70, 75 minutes would be real good.
It just depends if he gets sort of 65 or if he goes 70 plus. I don't know, I could go either way with that. But either way, he's gonna be at least fucking high 40s in worst case scenario.
Yep, don't mind that.
Does miss a lot of games though. Got to remember he's not young and he's only managed like 25 games of NRL and like 12 starts between not selections and he picks up quite a few different injuries as well. So
well, he's currently
he's
got
not
a
a sure
calf,
thing.
doesn't he? Racing round
Yeah,
one for that.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons why I've got Bateman and IPap ahead of him at the moment. Because that's a sort of, they say he's probably going to be right for round one, but those calf injuries are like quite famous for like coming back a couple of weeks later and shit. So a bit nervous about that. Whereas as far as I know, both IPap and Bateman are healthy.
Yeah. CC Dub, is there any other factors that would make you take Hosking if you saw the team named in a certain way in round one?
I'm not sure. I've now got IPap and Bateman, and that looks pretty good. So I've gone off Hosking. I've gone off Hosking just during this conversation. But I think he's still on my radar.
The thing for me is, out of the three of those, Hosking is the one where his role is the most up in the air, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Like, we expect IPap to lose a couple. We just don't know exactly how many, but we're still confident he'll do all right with it. Hosking, there's a great ceiling, but the floor's a little bit lower.
And IPap and Bateman just have such a bigger sample behind them. Not 12 NRL starts, you know?
Yep. What do you make of somebody with even like less starts, but also really, really promising? Is there room for? He's got the dual. He's not really an edge, but he's got the dual. Is Liam Henry going to take another step up this year, or did he price himself up too much last year to be really any consideration? He's at 542, which is a 40.6 average.
Not for me.
No, there's much bigger question marks around what his exact role is, because he's quite expensive already, especially for a guy that's fucking probably not starting. I think he'll continue to go up a little bit, but it might be one of those sort of things where he gets more minutes towards Origin, and the very start of the season might not be his best work. So I couldn't really see a reason to put him ahead of those guys, unless he's suddenly like shockingly starting in the front row or something. But I don't see him coming and getting 50 minutes off the bench from round one or anything, which is probably what you'd want.
Yeah, I'd say that's about right. All right. So we're down to $500,000. On exactly $500,000, we have somebody who the narrative's changed a bit throughout the preseason. Where are you at with one Tom Gilbert now, CCW?
Well, I'm not sure. I don't think I'll have him. I can see the appeal, but just not for me. I don't think he's ever going to be that like gun guy. He's going to be like a 40s guy that's probably priced about what he's going to average.
Yeah, I've been pretty consistent on him all preseason. I'm just straight up not as high on him as sort of everyone else. His PPM's not that high. Fucking in his games at prop at 0.74. Fucking at lock it's only 0.81. So people see that one time he averaged 47.5. But yeah, that was but that was playing 60 minutes in the middle. Like, is that the role you guys expect from him? I think it's going to be more like 50 minutes in the middle, and at that sort of PPM, you're looking at a low 40s guy, priced at 37. It's a bit whatever. Because I mean, like we said, some of those other guys we just mentioned might only have 5 points of value, but at least that 5 points brings them up to a 50-point player. Like, I'm not going to be that stoked to have a guy running around in my team like getting low 40s and then he gets picked for Origin. Like, that's not that cool.
Spot on. He's 21.7% owned, which seems fucking high.
Yeah, I don't think. I feel like people have just. It's a little bit of fucking recognition of sort of a bit of name, the fact that he's Origin and he was all right, but yeah, when he was playing without Plath and was literally playing like 60 to fucking 80-minute games at lock and shit, and it's just not going to be doing that. And to show you, he's a bit of a plotter. Like, I see one game here, 2023, he played 80 minutes at lock for 35 points. Like, 38 of those points were from fucking tackles, then 100 run meters. Only averages 1.5 tackle busts a game. He misses his share, doesn't have an offload, doesn't score that many tries. Like, I don't know. We're like, what's the excitement? Where are all these extra points coming from? I don't see it, especially after a big layoff.
Yeah,
bit of a mirage.
I think there's upside, but there's a lot of little things chipping away at him. On my analysis I did a while back, I have him at exactly 5 points of value, which, yeah, as you said, is probably not enough.
I was thinking somewhere about the same thing.
Yeah. All right. So one Tom Gilbert. There's a little bit of talk that Thomas Kant might be starting lock for the Knights, but surely that's just got to be cooked pre-season training drills, right? Like, surely they're not going to go that crazy.
Nah, I don't believe that for a second. There's been multiple players like this. Fucking some joker goes down and watches a fucking training and goes, oh, fucking so-and-so was training on the edge of the starting team one random day in the middle of January. That must mean he's going to start in the NRL. Nah, it doesn't mean shit. He's not going to fucking start.
Yeah.
He can't start.
I'm of a similar opinion with the Eels edges at the moment, because similar reports are coming out. Oh, you've got Geimer and Kartoga and stuff, and Cardi's with reserve graders. I'm like, nah, I just don't see it. I just cannot see it.
Not only that, Cardi's going to play 80 minutes.
Exactly. If there was no Cardi somehow, yeah, Tuilagi would be the guy over Geimer and stuff, but I just don't think it happens.
I don't think people understand how fucking trainings work either, especially through the preseason. You can't just train the same fucking starting edges in the edge spots constantly, every training, all off season. Like, otherwise, when someone like Geimer's called to play, the fuck will he know what to do when he hasn't run any reps as the fucking edge? What do they want to do? Just hold the pads?
Yeah.
Nah.
They'll score like 80,000 tries like Tunga did in round 1 or 2. They'll run straight through.
I'll be fucking shocked if it's Kelmer and Geimer as the combo. I'll be fucking shocked.
I agree too. So, thoughts are probably that Tuilagi out of the two is going to be the one that doesn't play 80. Is there enough game time for him to be of value? I'm starting to think there's probably not. Like, if he did,
Nah,
wheels up. But I don't really love it anymore.
I've probably been the biggest Tui naysayer all preseason. He's been super popular, and I've been trying to call people on him. He's not going to play 80 every week. Fucking everyone's just got rose-tinted glasses on for this period where he played like good for like 6 weeks last year, and was like averaging fucking 43 or something. But while playing 80 every week during that period, starts he's far from assured getting 80 minutes every week. I don't think he will. And outside of that, like 6 games, he's just been fucking useless forever with a low PPM, doing fuck all shit on defense, not offering that much on attack. I think he's going to be a huge trap. People are going to get him. He's going to get like 35 points a game from like 65 minutes, and his owners are going to hate him. I can fucking see it from here.
Hold on.
True.
I reckon he's Tom Gilbert, but even less points in your starting side week to week, and you're going to hate it more.
Yeah, I'm not. That's what, as I said earlier in the pod, like, I don't want to be sitting there getting fucking 30s and fucking high 20s and shit from my starting second rows. That'll piss me off real fucking fast. And people fucking will find the same thing.
Yeah, what do you reckon, CC Dub? Is there any chance that Tuilagi avoids it, or is he just gonna annoy everybody?
Yeah, no, I'm not keen on Tuilagi, but for 20k cheaper, I don't mind the look of Fini Fuiaki at the Dolphins.
Yeah, so he at least is a bit cheaper and has similar upside. I don't know if he'll play 80, but he at least can score a little bit better than Tuilagi. So
Fuck, not much. He's got a fucking shit cunt PPM as well. And I think he's gonna have the same problem. I think he's gonna have quite a lot of like games about 60 minutes and shit, and it's just not gonna be enough.
yeah.
He's not
Alrighty.
good.
So where are the minutes going to go? They've got, the thing is, Plath wrecks everything a little bit with Gilbert there. So Marshall King's there. Plath played well enough that he has to play minimum 50 minutes, you'd think.
Yeah.
Either
Yep.
lock and a little bit of hooker, but Gilbert's going to take 50.
Watching-
You've got the others. Surely Finifuyaki's going to be 60, 65 minutes.
Yeah. And it's not enough. His PPM's only like fucking 0.55 or some shit. Like basically, fucking, you can divide his minutes by 2, and that's basically what he'll score. Plus, he might get a few extra points. Like that's it. So again, you're looking at a cut that's just going to be rolling 30s all the time.
Yeah. Hang on, let me just check his price real quick because I think that's not dead right. Yeah, they priced him up half a point, so he's not actually priced at 29.4. He's priced at 30, so that's even knocks a little bit more off. It's not much, but like there's a lot of those. I prefer the 500 guys and the 600 guys to the 400 guys. I had so many of these guys to start with, and then I just kind of went off all of them.
Well, at least the 500 play guys are good NRL players.
Yep.
These cunts, they're all scrubs.
Yeah, or at least until further notice. One that we sort of skipped, but we kind of mostly covered in the mids pod. White's got edge duel. I've seen a lot of people shoving him at edge with all the plethora of 50 average mids. Is he somebody that appeals to you, CCW? Is he going to get enough minutes if he starts at lock?
Nah, he doesn't appeal to me. I mean, he's got the DPP, which is nice, but yeah, I guess he's another one in that early 400s that just feels a bit too risky. I think out of all of those, I like Finifuiaki the most still. I think he's a good player who could go up another level now, but then again, Dolphins might be going a step back now with Wayne Bennett gone, so I don't know.
I think they'll be a bottom 4 team.
I hope so. I really didn't enjoy them.
You still say Finns down.
Yeah, I don't enjoy a team coming into a league like the NRL and just being good straight away.
You want them to serve their time being shit cunts for a while.
Yeah.
Pay the dues.
Yeah. So what we're going to see the PNG team come in and be spooners for 2 years, despite all their interesting
Fuck,
salary cap differences.
I reckon they could be spooners for fucking ages. So do the players actually have to fucking live in PNG? Like, who the fuck wants to take their family to that fucking place?
I think they're building like a compound for some of the
Fuck,
players
that
and
sounds
leave some
shit
of that.
as.
Yeah, it's a bit.
Who the
It's a
fuck
bit
wants
how
to
you
live in a
going.
compound?
But yeah, that's a few
That
years
sucks.
away yet.
Yeah, fucking no one wants to go there.
Yeah. Is there any interest in Piakura or no bad player
Fuck
isn't
no.
built for fantasy?
I had him. I
But-
ended up stuck. I got stuck with him for like 20 fucking rounds or some shit last year. Fuck no.
Yeah.
He sucks.
I
I
could
watched
see.
him a lot last year, and he doesn't pass the eye test. Fucking doesn't ever go looking for the ball on like attack. Like he's not like a player like Aitken that will be playing on the edge and will just sneak in for hit ups whenever he can. Like that ain't him. He's fucking camped there outside his half, and if the half doesn't give him the ball on a line while he runs a line, then he will never ever do another carry. So low work rate on attack. Didn't really work hard on defense. Again, he's not like an Aitken style edge that likes to go looking for fucking tackles to make. He's more just, if anyone runs straight at me, I'll try and tackle them, except I'll miss about 5 of them a game. Like, he sucks. Fuck him.
Yeah. The
Yeah,
only thing.
I'm still fucking pissed at him.
The only thing that I think he can improve a little bit to begin the year is the fact that he'll have a different halves partner and maybe there won't be huge holes to run through. So he'll go down from 4.6 missed tackles, but he's not going to get to 40, not with that style of player that he is.
He doesn't have that fucking dog in him. He doesn't have that fucking dog that's fucking hungry to fucking be involved in the game. And if he didn't have that last year, to me that just shows what kind of a fucking mentality he has, and he's never going to be that guy that looks to get stuck in. Fuck him.
Yep, good call. Jack Bird's down there, but he's probably best played at centre. Dimer himself is 300k, but like if he's there, you pick him. If he's not, you don't. There's nothing more to it than that, right?
Yeah.
Have low expectations for him too. Like he's a plod king.
Yeah.
Massive plod king. Very low PPM. While playing in the middle last year, like he got 29 and 28 off 45 and 41 minutes in the middle at PPM of 0.66. He's only ever made one tackle break in the NRL. He missed 4.5 a game. That's pretty fucking high.
Yeah.
So he seems like a plod king. He seems like a Bullymore sort of cunt. Like,
Yeah, that's a good comparison. Yeah. What do you make of some of these, I guess, fringe edges that could? I think a lot of these guys could be next year's options, like Dimitri Vamalga on the Warriors bench, even Laban. I don't know if they're going to be that relevant this year or until really late in the year. Kai O'Donnell maybe if Bateman goes down, but I don't think any of those guys I'm really that keen on.
yeah, nah. Who knows what happens later on in the season? Laban could become relevant at some point, but my eyes are on nothing but the first 6 rounds at the moment. That's all anyone should really be worried about.
Yep, that's a pretty good call. Well, that's just about everybody. The only player, let's have a look. The only popular player we haven't really talked about.
Did you guys talk? Sorry, did you guys talk about Seyfarth on the mid episode?
Yes, we did. But yeah, he's a good one to.
I should talk about him because he's in my fucking team, isn't it?
Yeah.
He's my backup edge. So obviously this kit is only if he starts, but I mean, starting at second row, I think he averaged like 47 or some shit. With big base in there. He's a big dumb ringer, obviously. So he gets himself in the shit quite a bit. Fucking hopefully he tidies that up a bit. But from his sample, everything suggests that fucking he's got plenty of value if he does start.
Yes.
Some worries about job security. Mostly the fact that like he seems to me like he's just a middle that's playing on the edge. It's sort of like when you chuck someone like Naz on the edge, they don't really belong. Like he's not like a good line runner or particularly skillful or anything like that. But they don't seem to have many options on the edge if they're not going to be playing Jack Bird there, really. So him and Fainu, I think they probably will start, right? Do you agree?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
my thoughts regarding him too. Like, Geordie hates him because he's like, nah, he's gonna
Yeah.
get suspended and
Oh,
get dropped. Got him down
George,
as somebody that he doesn't like.
Geordie's always hated on guys that are good at fantasy but not very good in real life. He fucking hates them. There used to be one at the Bulldogs a few years back. He was playing 13. He was a big boy and he was a goal kicker for a while and he was averaging like 60 points. But like in
Reece
real life, he
Martin.
was
Is
somehow
that Reece
shit.
Martin?
Yeah. Fuck, he used to hate on Reece Martin. Do you remember when Reece Martin was fantasy gold for a bit?
Oh,
But he
mate,
was
he was like
not
the
that good
second or
in real
third
life.
best cow
Yeah.
of like last decade or so. He made like 500-600K.
He was averaging 60 or some shit at one point. He was like this goal kicking 80-minute 13, but he would just constantly make like bad defensive reads and shit. And while being like the best in his position in NRL, basically, he ended up getting shipped off to the UK and never came back.
Yeah,
Old Reese
Jordy
boy.
hates cunts like that.
he was a good goal kicker too. But yeah, no more. We got the others for that now. I think Seyfarth is still going to say in my team is like, as you said, there's no bait and there's no IPap. Who do they really have? Do they pull up from their reserve grade guys and their fringe guys and bring somebody up? I mean, they could, and in that case, you'd buy them instead. But yeah, for now, Seyfarth, he's just sort of a 50 guy if he plays on the edge for the 80 minutes.
Yeah, well, he comes out and he makes like 35 to 40 tackles and shit. So he's one of those edges, which are the ones I like. Guys like him, Aitken, Crichton, the ones that actually go out and are hungry to go out and make some tackles, because that way you just got that sort of base that keeps the floor up a little bit. He's less likely to have like a 12 game like some loser like Piakura will have.
Yeah.
Fucking Piakura.
I wonder how much the Tigers forwards will change this year base wise, because, well, surely you'd think they might not get the spoon again this year. So if they're a little bit better, maybe there's less tackling, but surely there'd still be like enough work for him to do that his base will be fine.
Yeah, I wouldn't go as far as saying he's going to be in a good team. Might spend a little bit less time under the sticks, though.
Yeah. Where do you see Seyfarth averaging if he holds his spot CCW?
Well, 45. So
Yeah, it's
10 points of value, really.
Yep, I can get behind that. If he gets
he averages 47 there, but that's over a smaller sample, and I always tend to assume that sort of a player that's sort of just coming through, like might not necessarily quite sustain as big of a number, but yeah, I reckon he can still go like 45-ish.
Yeah,
Why the fuck not?
I think that's about right. 2022, he had 43 tackles a game and averaged 54. 2024, he averaged 35 tackles a game, boosted some other stats and averaged 48 at edge. So yeah, I could see mid to high 40s.
And you just got to hope that he plays for 6 weeks before he gets dropped, and then that'll be sweet.
We
You
should
max out.
We should make a theoretical team of redheads.
The DPP's nice.
Oh, it will be great. We should make a theoretical team of redheads and see how many suspensions they get compared to the rest of the NRL. Put Horse in there, put Seyfarth in there.
So
all sorts of good stuff.
Seyfarth obviously doesn't have DPP now. Does he get it in round one? Obviously, if he's named on the edge.
Yeah, that's right.
If they're named in TLT, usually they give it to them by about Wednesday Arvo or something like that.
I'm just assuming he's going to get it. Well, I mean, if he doesn't get it, then that means he's not on the edge, and I won't be picking him.
Now I've got IPap, Bateman, and as my starting edges, and Seyfarth on the bench. I'm starting to like that a lot. So good episode, lads.
Yeah. Just to touch on White again briefly, what do you guys think his role should be? Because I've seen talk of him at 13, which I really don't like because Butcher and Radley could push him out at any stage. But I can't see why he shouldn't be in consideration to be a starting prop and just leave Lenier as an impact player. I think White's probably the most suited guy to that spot in the whole squad.
Yeah,
Is that something you'd see happening?
I've been liking White at lock less since Geordie was talking about just the fact that Radley and Crichton should play 80 if they're both at edge. Because Butcher
Crichton
will take
definitely
minutes.
will.
Oh yeah, and Butcher will play big minutes too, somewhere probably in the middle. So if he's lock, I'd say it'll be White prop. And yeah, I do agree. Lingy probably could step up a bit this year with no Terrell Main, no JWH, but I mean,
I just don't think he's that guy.
He's a good impact player, and his PPM goes down.
He's like Naz.
Yeah,
he's like Naz. You better Yeah, I reckon he's like Naz. I reckon just play him for 35 minutes off the bench and Nafahu White 40. That's what I'd do. There's no mail that backs it up or anything, but that's what I think should happen.
Yeah, he's probably my biggest watch of actual round one TLT. I'll look in to see where he lines up in trials too, because that'll probably give an indication. But yeah.
He'll be one of those cunts fucking that if you miss the boat on him, it's because you didn't get him. It turned out he did keep his spot, and so you decided you wanted to watch him for 3 weeks, and suddenly the 3 weeks has passed, and now he's fucking 70k more expensive, and you're like, oh well, now he's too expensive to buy, so you just never get him.
Yeah, I think that's
it happens right. All the fucking time. It happens all the fucking time, mate.
Oh. Yeah,
that's why you just got to make your calls and stick with them.
Who did I do that to the other year? I was really annoyed by somebody I did it with last year. I did it with Plath out of all players. I just waited until I couldn't bear it anymore, and I bought him at 670k or something instead of 450 or 500. And I was furious with myself.
Fuck, I'll one up you on that one, bro. I did the same thing, but with Jolliffe. I paid 700k for Jolliffe, and I owned him for about 6 minutes, and I owned him for about 6 fucking minutes.
That. Oh,
I copped the bad score, and I immediately copped a 50k price drop as well because I had to sell him. Fuck, that fucking ruined my weekend, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that was I think that was the last straw for your season last year.
Oh fuck, there was lots of last straws.
Every
time it was every time I thought it was the last straw, I'd find another one fucking lying around.
Yeah, as long as Edge this year isn't quite as bad as the Roosters' Edges last year, maybe White will trap us, but at least there won't be two of them.
Yeah, I don't have. No, I don't have any Roosters forwards. I don't think. Just Watson.
Yeah, just Watson here too.
Sounds pretty good to me. All right, lads, that was good discussion. There's a few more edges than I thought. Hey, and this is going to be the most varied position across a few teams, I reckon. Halves, there's a lot of players, but I think there's less variety. Yeah.
Yeah, no, there's definitely more variety here, and yeah, you've got sort of the camp that likes those shitty fucking low 400k guys. You've got the Gilbert camps, and then the IPap camps, Hosking camps, fucking the Bateman camps, fucking. There's definitely options there, or even Mighty C Wilton.
Yeah. Well, the narratives between different podcasts are massively different too. So I guess we'll see which one actually wins out.
You got to remember that some of these podcasts put out a lot of podcasts for the preseason, and a lot of narratives get thrown around, often contradicting themselves. I feel like sometimes they're just throwing out narratives for the sake of content, and they're narratives that the person saying them doesn't truly believe. Like podcasters saying, "Oh no, fucking, oh, don't get birdies a trap." Blah 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 blah, and then come round one, who's sitting in their fucking centres, Jack fucking Bird. So you just got to take that into account. I don't want to name names, but people might be able to figure that out.
Yeah, all right. Well, I won't be here on the next pod. I've been sticking around for 3, but you'll have new voices to listen to for the halves one. Yeah, and that'll be short too. Pick Cleary, good night.
Is Thorsky running the cutter?
I think so. I think him and Geordie are doing Wednesday nights most of the time. Then there'll be one or two others that hop on. So keen to hear Thorsey for his debut tomorrow.
Cheer the fucking boys.